Welcome to the Drum Set Shrink podcast. My name is Stefano Ashbridge, and this is a show about drummers, drumming, and the challenges that come with playing the drums. Let's talk about some general tips for doing a sound check before a show. The point of the sound check is for the musicians to work with the sound engineer to make sure the show sounds as good as it can for the audience, and that the musicians can clearly hear themselves and anyone else they need to hear for their performance. If you're fortunate enough to get a sound check before the show, make sure you arrive on time. Being late can set everyone back, and there's usually a hard cutoff time when the doors need to open for the show and the sound check needs to be done. Bands are usually sound checked from last to first, so if things are running late, a lot of times the first band won't get a sound check, and the musicians won't know until after the first song if they can hear themselves, and the sound engineer will be mixing their sound during the first song, so it might not sound so good from the start. When you get to the sound check, introduce yourself to the sound engineer, find out their name, and use it when addressing them. They have the control of the band's sound for the night, so don't act like a jerk. I usually arrive early and assemble my drums off stage so that when I am called for, I can quickly put my drums together so the sound engineer can put the microphones to the drums to get ready. When the engineer is placing the drums on your drum set, please refrain from striking your drums. I once saw an engineer try to place microphone on the bass drum, and the drummer whacked the bass drum with the engineer's ear right next to the bass drum. Ouch. Once everything is ready to go, the engineer will usually ask you to play each drum individually so they can get a level check for that microphone and also tailor the sound with EQ and compression and or reverb to make it sound good individually and then all together. So when they ask you to strike the bass drum, just give them a consistent bass drum sound so they can set the levels. Same thing with the snare. When they ask you to strike the snare, give them a consistent snare drum level. They'll usually ask to hear each one of the toms and then maybe the cymbals, and then they'll ask you to play the kit in general. I like to play them a beat that involves all the parts of the drum so they can hear how those sound consistently as they tailor the sound. And then they'll move on to do the same thing to get the levels for all the other musicians on stage, and they'll ask you to play a song so that they can start mixing. After that, they usually ask if every musician can hear themselves or would like a little more of any other instrument in their monitors. Now would be the time to speak up. If you can't hear the guitar or can't hear the vocals, ask for a little more, or if something is too loud, you can ask them to turn them down in the monitor. Since being the drummer, I'm usually the first one in the band there for a sound check. The sound engineer might ask me questions about the band, like how many guitarists we have or how many vocal mics we need. So it can be good to be prepared with that information. Some bands will include a stage plot that has a diagram of everything the band needs to make it easier for the sound engineer. Overall, you want to work with the sound engineer to get good sounds and make the show sound as good as possible. Thanks for listening. You can find me at drumlessonsinla.com. My name is Stefano Ashbridge. Until next time.